Hi, my name is Brooke, and I'm a self-authority coach, and I talk about self-empowerment, how to step into um, the life that you want to live, and so that you can love, lead, and live boldly, right? And how do we do that? It's through conscious manifestation. So today specifically, I typically teach the law of assumption, right? And that is a Neville Goddard law. He's kind of the godfather of the law of assumption, if you're not familiar. And so essentially, it's what are you dominantly assuming to be true, right? So today I wanted to talk about the concept or maybe an idea of what's your algorithm, right? What is your algorithm that you're seeing out into your world? Because remember, with the law of assumption, everything that you think becomes a thing, right? Our thoughts become things. And so if you think about it, when you're looking at your 3D, right, it's the screen of space and time. It's how you get to walk through life. It's how you get to experience life. And so what's your algorithm in your internal world, right? Because who you're being is what's projected out. It's what you experience in the physical world with your five senses, through sight, through touch, through taste, through sound. So what story are you telling yourself? Because that's really what life is. It's just the story that we tell ourselves. And your internal algorithm, right, your story that you're telling yourself is what's being broadcast. So what's your algorithm? Is your algorithm that you are the victim and that things never work out for you and you're constantly having to struggle, right? You have to work hard to play hard. Maybe that's your internal algorithm. Maybe thank you so much, Lex, for the gift. Maybe your internal algorithm is things are always working out for me and I'm lucky, right? Things always work out. I'm the luckiest person on the planet. Things always go my way. I always get what I want. Or maybe you're stuck in love and you're like, I'm never chosen and I'm always the bridesmaid, never the bride. People never approach me. All men are dogs, right? Maybe that's your story, that's your algorithm. So your algorithm is just the story that you're telling yourself. And when we talk about conscious creation, we have to become aware of what that story is, right? What story do we have on repeat? Is it serving us? Is it in our favor? Or is it harming us? Is it harming us, right? If you're thinking negatively and you're thinking about all the things that you don't want, you'll manifest it because as a conscious creator that everything you think manifests into your world, both good and bad, right? All of the things that you see currently are just past thoughts playing out, right? So it could be an old thought. Thank you so much, Cambo. I've just got started. So really, what's your internal algorithm? And you know that it's very easy when we think of it in terms of an algorithm as an analogy. It's very easy to reset your algorithm, right? So I want you to treat your thoughts like you're resetting, right? So if you see something that you don't like, you swipe. So what would that look like in real world? Well, if you start thinking a negative thought, right, of things don't work out for me or I'm not going to get the promotion, right? Treat it as like this is a computer screen. Swipe. We're not indulging that thought, right? You wouldn't continue to watch that video if you weren't interested in it. So why are you putting your attention on those things, right? That you don't want. You wouldn't do it on your phone. You wouldn't do it when you're on TikTok. You wouldn't do it when you're on Instagram. You would keep swiping, right? Because it's something that you're not interested in. You're not giving it your time and your attention. So you swipe. So get real with yourself on what's your internal algorithm. And here's where the paradigm shift happens is because sometimes your algorithm might be that you're not chosen. And so maybe you're consuming content quite literally online that says how your partner is an avoidant and how they isolate and they need to go on their own and figure things out, right? That might be something that internally you're interested in because you're telling yourself the story that your person is an avoidant and that's why they're not showing up for you and that's why they blocked you and that's why you're in no contact, right? But that's not what you want. So if you don't want that, why are you giving your energy to a video like that? So it's really important to focus on what you do want, and that's the relationship, right? Because everything that you consume, you're reaffirming for yourself. You're affirming that you don't have your desire. And if, as a conscious creator, you know that you can have any desire that you want, right? It's already done. It's already yours. You just command it into your reality through persistence. So think about what's your internal algorithm. What do you have on repeat? What story are you telling yourself? Is it favorable or is it not favorable, right? Is it something that aligns with, your future self or where you're headed in life, your dreams and your goals, or is it the opposite? And so tell yourself a better story, right? Reset your algorithm. So when the negative thought comes up or the unfavorable thought comes up, I want you to swipe, right? Treat it like your TikTok feed. Swipe. Or your For You page, whatever they call it. Just swipe, right? And then really tune in and watch the videos that are of interest to you. Because that's going to plant seeds. So be mindful of what you are consuming in your life, right? That's what this analogy is what are you dominantly thinking? What are you consuming? The new story or the old story? You get to choose. With every present moment, you get to decide, you get to step into whatever reality it is that you want. And also at the same time, yes, be mindful of what you're consuming online too in your feed, because it's reaffirming your story in your 3D and it'll create more of it. So what's your algorithm? I will answer every single person's question. So just bear with me. It sometimes takes me a second to get to your question, but I will answer. Gamboa said, my internal algorithm runs on curiosity, intention, and connection. That's why I ask questions. Beautiful. I love that. KJ said, I am in the beginning stages of identity shifting. I am trying to reset my nervous system. Beautiful. Well, congratulations on starting to shift your identity. I primarily teach law of assumption, so I don't know if you're familiar with that. But what I want you to say is you've already shifted, right? So you don't have to say that you're in the beginning stages. If I were you, I would start affirming, I am a master manifester, right? I manifest instantly because you've always been manifesting. You just didn't realize it. Everything that you think, you've always been manifesting. We're just being more intentional about it now, right? You said that you're trying to reset your nervous system. I love nervous system work. I think it's great because it can help to alleviate things in the 3D, right? Like anxiety and worry. But just know as the creator, you don't even have to do that, right? You can just simply decide my nervous system is regulated. It's reset, right? It's not a requirement of manifestation, although I do teach a lot of it. And if you buy one of my courses, they are founded in that. But do what feels in alignment with you. But yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. I love it. Lady Luck said, I've been battling with my weight for years. Can I manifest a slim body? Yes, you can. I've done it several times. That's easy. You can manifest anything, first of all. Nothing is off limits. You get to have it all. So yes, I grappled with weight. Recently, I went to Europe in October and I ate my way through Europe, right? And I came back and I got on the scale and I was like, uh-oh, we had a lot of fun, right? No big deal, because I don't really judge my body in that way anymore. I just know how I felt, right? That's how I got on the scale, because I felt kind of weighed down. And so I just started affirming, right? So you can do that through affirming. You can say, everything I eat makes me the perfect size. What you're going to do is you're going to persist in that, right? 5 minutes later, if you eat a piece of chocolate, you're not going to be like, this makes me the perfect size. And then you're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that piece of chocolate, right? You're going to persist in the knowing that you are the image of health, right? You're going to affirm, I am the image of health. I am so healthy. I'm slim. I'm lean. Everybody's always saying that I had this amazing glow up. My body is perfect. I love it. It's my dream body, right? Everything I eat makes me the perfect size. I get to eat whatever I want. I'm fit. People are always complimenting me on my shape, right? So you're going to start to affirm that. You're going to start to slip into that identity. And when your brain goes back to moments of, yeah, right, no, it's not, and you don't look that way, you're going to say, no, thank you. That's not what I'm manifesting. You're going to say, I don't have to choose that. I don't have to choose that. And so you're going to step into the identity again. You're just going to bring your awareness back to your new body and say, I am slim. So I did this. I went to Europe, ate a little too much, and gained some weight. I started affirming, and I went to the hairdresser and got my hair done. When I walked in, she was like, Brooke. I was like, what? She was like, you're so small. And I was like, what? And she was just like, you're tiny. And I was like, oh, okay. So she reflected it back to me. So the world will reflect back to you your affirmations, and you will have physical body changes, right? And then after my hair appointment, I always go to the restaurant that's directly next door. So I went to the restaurant next door, and I said, I know the waitress in there. And when I walked in, she was like, Brooke, she was like, I didn't even recognize you. You're so small. Like, I shit you not. This was literally, it was last month. It was like December 19th was my hair appointment. So yeah, I manifested that, and I didn't change anything. I continue to eat the same way. I work out often, so I continued on my workout regimen, but that was what I was working out regardless, right? I always work out, so I didn't change anything, right? And then I had massive body changes. It reflected back to me. So yeah, absolutely. Like I just did it, and it didn't take long, right? I got back at the end of October. So from November to mid-December, 6 weeks, it was gone, and I didn't change anything. So you can absolutely do that. You're going to affirm it. You're going to imagine it. I definitely recommend for body changes to do mirror work. That's very powerful. That would be you standing in the mirror and staring really at the true essence of you and going head to toe, saying all of the things that you love about your body, even if it's not true, right? Even if it's not true, because at first it's going to be a lie. You're going to feel like, you're lying to yourself, and essentially you are, but you're going to persist. So do that every day. You can really change your body by just doing the mirror work. And you're going to start to change the way you see yourself, right? When I first manifested body changes, I literally caught myself in the mirror. I still do. I'm not going to lie. Like even this morning in the mirror, I was like, damn, you're like so small. Like, cause I'm still in shock of myself, right? And for me, like I've been this same size for 5 years, but historically I always suffered with gaining and losing weight. In the last 5 years, I've been pretty much the same size, give or take, if I go on vacation and I gain a little bit of weight, whatever. But yeah, you just assume everything makes you the perfect size, right? And it does. And I know I gained the weight, right? Because I manifested it. I was like, I'm eating a lot in Europe. I was literally eating like 3, 4, 5 pastries sometimes a day. And I was like, this is not good. And I wasn't surprised when I got on the scale, because it's like I affirmed it. So then I switched it and did the opposite. And then it came right off. But still to this day, as a person who struggled with body image issues for 30 some odd years, right? My whole life, the last 5 years where I've been the same weight, I still catch myself off guard in the mirror and I'm like, damn, you look good. So stick with the affirming, right? Live in the end. You're already in your dream body, and you're going to start noticing, you're going to start talking to yourself, and you're going to be astonished at the way you're speaking to yourself, right? You're going to be like, wow, like I really like what I see, because you are. You'll manifest the body changes. It's very easy. You can do it. Just persist in the new thinking. Matthew, thank you for the heart me. Tem said, auditing thoughts. That's deep. Yeah, that's what the work is, right? We're auditing our thoughts. Our life is a story. Make sure you're telling a good story. Don't tell the crappy story, right? Don't be the loser in your own story. Don't be the villain. Don't be the victim. Be the hero. Be the main character. The one that always gets their way. The one where everything always works out and is in alignment. The one that's skipping to the cafe, right? Life is a story. Tell your story you want to experience. You get to choose your experience. Don't choose the trials and tribulations experience. Choose the thriving and living your best life experience, right? Gamboa said everyone take her courses. 100 out of 100 recommend one-on-one. She's such a good listener and great advice giver. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're so kind. I actually am meeting with you guys, one of you guys today, which is exciting. And then I have another one tomorrow that are from TikTok specifically. Lady Luck said, I have 50 pounds extra and constant hunger and feeling hopeless. So you're going to affirm, first of all, I'm at my ideal body weight, right? You're going to stop telling the story that you have 50 extra pounds, right? Because then you're going to manifest more of that. You're also manifesting that you have constant hunger and feeling hopeless. Not in this reality, no. You get to decide and you get to choose. So you're going to choose the opposite. You're going to say, I don't choose this. You're going to say, I'm at my dream weight and I get to eat whatever it is that I want. And I'm thriving. I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling encouraged because I feel good because I know that I'm the creator, right? If you're the creator, wouldn't you feel good knowing that you're the creator and anything that you say goes and you're living your joy? Here's what I stopped doing. I stopped assigning food meaning, right? Like, of course, I'm a human. Do I accidentally sometimes slip back into the programming? Of course, right? But for the most part, it's like I just don't judge food as good and bad. Everything in this world is neutral until we assign it meaning. So if I want chocolate because I love chocolate, it's one of my favorite things, then I'm going to eat the chocolate because I don't see chocolate as a bad thing, right? It's just not bad in my world. That's my rule that I've set up, right? So I can eat the chocolate and I can eat as much of it as I want and I don't gain weight. You can do that. It's just 5 minutes later, you can't beat yourself up if you eat the chocolate, right? So it's not even that you need to do anything in your 3D, right? You could stay where you are, live exactly how you're living, and just start thinking everything that I eat nourishes me. Everything that I eat makes me the perfect size. Everything that I eat is healthy. Everything that I eat satiates me, right? I'm not hungry. I'm full after every single meal. I started affirming that. So Lady Luck, for me, I used to always say I was a super eater because for me personally, I was a volume eater. It's called high volume. High volume, like low calorie foods where I would constantly eat because I weight lift a lot of protein. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what the food is, it's still calories, right? And so I would volume eat and I would still stay the same size. It didn't matter. But then lately I've been affirming I'm so full, I'm so hungry, and now I've just been eating one meal a day recently. And it's weird because I didn't know what the feeling of full ever was, to be honest, because I love eating. Like, that's something I enjoy doing, right? But then I just started affirming I'm just full. And now I am. It's just your reality. Have fun, play with it, experiment, right? You don't have to change everything at once. So just start treating it like it's an experiment. When you sit down and eat, just affirm a couple of things, right? You can start to visualize you're eating whatever it is that you want and the weight is just falling off. Affirm weight falls off so easy. I lose weight with no effort, right? I'm at a healthy weight. I'm in my healthy body. You can do this. You can absolutely do this, but stop telling the story that you have 50 pounds and constant hunger and feeling hopeless. You're going to say the opposite of that, and you're going to stick with that story. And every time an intrusive thought comes up or I shouldn't eat this, you're going to say, no, I get to have what I want. I get to eat whatever it is that I want. A good mindset shift that I worked with on another client, we ended up turning it into, instead of loss, right? There's an undertone in your brain, whether if you realize it or not, a loss is always hard, right? You never want to lose things. You don't want to lose your earrings. You don't want to lose a relationship. So sometimes inadvertently your brain might view weight loss as we don't want to do that because we don't want to experience a loss. So you could also play around with, I released all my weight, right? I released it. Because to release something feels good, right? You release hardship, you release stress, you release trauma. So maybe on a subconscious level, right? Not even knowingly, your brain might be fighting with you on, we don't want to experience loss. Loss isn't fun. Loss isn't a good feeling. So just say, I release the weight. When me and my client did that together, she instantly shifted. And things started fitting. She didn't get on the scale. She wasn't a scale person, but she said her clothes started fitting better, right? you could also put on the scale the number that you want. I've done that before in the past because I wanted to lose weight for a vacation. So I literally just put the number I wanted on the scale. I don't know what your number is, but you could write 165 on a Post-it note, tape it there, and then every time you get on the scale in the morning, you're like, yes, I'm 165 on my dream weight. Yes, and celebrate. It's about tricking your brain, right? So maybe try that. Gamboa said, if you're really serious about growth, her courses and material are worth looking into, just saying. Thank you. She asked questions you didn't know you needed to hear and reflect on. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I love working with you all. Christian said, yes. Makes you wonder, is it working out, or does working out just help you believe it's working? Yeah, it's like whatever lie you want to tell yourself, right? So here's the thing, for whoever asked that question, I think it was it KJ? I can't remember. You can still take action in the 3D, right? If you have a story of I work out and it helps me lose weight, it will help you lose weight, right? Right now you're living in the story of I must go to the gym and I must eat in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight, which is absolutely a truth that we've accepted as society, but it doesn't mean that has to be the only story. You could be like, I lose weight without trying. There's people out there, right? You see thin people all the time. They eat whatever they want. They have a belief, I have a high metabolism, so I can eat whatever it is I want. Start saying that. Affirm, I have a high metabolism. It's about getting behind something that your brain can really believe and rest in, right? That's going to work in your favor. But right now, the story of I'm 50 pounds heavy and I'm hopeless, that's just not working in your favor. So you're just going to change it. But yeah, you can also take action in the 3D, right? Like I personally weight train. I love lifting weights. It's like a passion of mine. I like it, right? So I like working out. If you like working out, work out. The thing with reality creation is I know other people talk about decide it and it is done. I say it 50 million times on my lives, right? But you could still do whatever it is that you want in the 3D. The 3D is still an experience. It's still an option. Just know that you can create in the 4D, right? The 4D is definitely the fast track. It's what you're creating still. Everything you think is out in your screen of space and time. And if you have the thought of, I'm going to go work out because it's going to make me healthy, then yeah, that's what it'll be. It'll make you healthy. DJ said, I'd like to learn more about this manifestation. Do you offer? Yeah, I have coaching 1-to-1. Check the link in my bio. I've met with a couple of you this week from TikTok specifically. I offer 30-minute sessions, 60-minute sessions, and 90-minute sessions. DJ Black said, how long did this manifest? Did it work until you reach your goal? It depends on you, right? So time doesn't exist. If you're new to this might be hard to get your brain around, right? But it's like when you're thinking about the past, you're in the present moment. When you're thinking about the future, you're in the present moment. All you have is the present moment. So when you are manifesting, you are making a decision, right? A choice to say, I am this, right? Because what we're doing is self-concept work. You're saying, who am I being, right? Who am I? And in this moment, you get to decide because all we have is now. So you're going to say, I am, the example we've been using today, slim, right? I am slim. I am fit. I am healthy. And so it's instant because you decided it. It's done. The issue is people start to engage with their 3D and they say the scale hasn't moved, or my clothes are still tight, or I still don't like what I see in the mirror. That's just past thinking playing out. That's yesterday's thinking, right? So the moment you decide creation is finished, it's done. All you have is the present moment. You decide you're slim now, period. The 3D is just an illusion. The reason why the 3D doesn't reflect it back to you is because 2 seconds later, you're like, where's the change? So then you manifest that instantly, right? You instantly manifest that it hasn't changed. And then you go back to the new story of I am thin. I've got all my body changes. Good. You just affirmed it. It's instant. It's done. But then 2 seconds later, you walk by a mirror and you're like, I hate what I see. Then you just created that instantly. You hate what you see. So I say that to say you're constantly creating. This is why we say live in the end, right? You have to be persistent in the new thinking. And it's normal, right? It's going to happen. You're going to go back and forth, especially in the beginning. But it's about just becoming aware of the thought, right? You're not judging it. You're not getting frustrated. You're not getting mad at yourself, right? You're just saying, that's just a thought, but it's not my story. So I'm going back to the new story, that I am thin, that I am in my new body. And you just keep doing that over and over and over again until it becomes your dominant belief, right? Your dominant assumption, your dominant thought. And then it will be reflected back to you in your reality, in people, places, and things, right? People will say you look like you lost weight. Things will start to fit better. You'll feel more comfortable at certain places, right? So it's just about persisting in the new story, persisting in the new thinking. That's all that it is. Ivan, thank you for the follow. King said unconditional, non-judgmental loving. Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. Where's the chocolate, right? Where is it? Faith B said, I can say I keep losing weight. Exactly. Hi, Faith. How are you? Yeah, just say, like, I lose weight easily. I'm at the perfect weight. I just like to go to the end. Just say, I'm at my perfect size. It's done. It's complete. Finished. Right. Thinking fast food is unhealthy is still a belief. Exactly. Yes, Christian. You're exactly right. So just choose a different thought. Say everything makes me the perfect size. I eat McDonald's and it makes me the perfect size. It's just adopting it as a belief. There are some things you're going to have more resistance to. So to go out and say McDonald's is healthy, how much conviction can you have with that, right? So it's about persisting in that story until it is your conviction, right? Because it can be. You can really think McDonald's is healthy. There are people that eat only fast food and have their blood work is completely fine because they believe it. But there's other people that might start to adopt that as a belief, but then they're wavering back and forth, and then their blood pressure goes up, their cholesterol goes up, and their scale goes up because they're going back and forth between the two stories, right? You can manifest your desire and your fear simultaneously. That's what happens when you're going back and forth. That's why sometimes if you have a specific person, right, you manifest them back, but then they don't show up as the version of them that you wanted. So you persisted that they would come back, but you were still indulging the story of how they disrespected you and how they were looking at other women and how they were cheating on you. So they came back. And they're in the exact same story that you were in of they don't prioritize you. So it's really about not being double-minded, right? That's what Neville Goddard says. That's being double-minded. You have to persist in the story and the knowing that they are back and they are better than ever and they are loving and they are supporting you, right? Whatever story you want to tell, you just have to persist in the story. Faith B said, oh, that's good to know. So how about I release extra fat? Exactly. Yep. Vegas, thank you. Faith said, I am doing my arm exercises to firm my triceps for a sleeveless dress. So now I can say my arms are firm. Exactly. I used to have a complex, guys. I didn't show my arms. It's funny that I'm saying that of all days I have on sleeves, but every single live I get on these lives sleeveless. Right? I live in a tropical climate and it's hot. And 2 years ago, I had this thing where I was like, I can't show my arms. My arms are ugly. And I'm like, says who? I get to decide. So I literally decided one day that I liked my arms and that my arms were perfect. And then I just started wearing sleeveless, no sleeves, tube tops, whatever. Because I decided. I couldn't have even fathomed wearing that out in public, let alone on a live, and I do it all the time now. Don't care. We get to make the rules. You get to decide. You get to choose. He said, let's see the muscles. I don't even know who Christy is, but Aaliyah said, can you talk about synchronicities? Yes. So I view synchronicities as different than signs, right? Some people say they're the same. I view them a little differently. I wouldn't argue with people if they say that they're the same, because it is, I can see why they think that, and I accept both to be true, to be honest. I feel like a sign is more so a beacon, right? So if you are on a boat, right, and there's buoys or lighthouses, right, guiding you along your journey, people look for signs saying, like, this sign is saying I'm on the right path, right? And they're making decisions based off of those signs. I don't need a sign to guide me, right? It's like I know my end because I'm the creator and I decided it, so it's done. So I already know where I'm going because I know that creation is done. But essentially, Neville Goddard talks about the bridge of incidents. And so what does that mean? It's all of the things that had to happen in order for your manifestation to materialize in the 3D. So that would be synchronicities that happen along the way. And I view them as hindsight, right? He talks about birds before land. Birds before land, when Neville Goddard talks about that, is typically back in the day when they were exploring, right, on boats. You would start to see birds and you would know that land was nearby because birds would be present, right? So that means land is near. And so when you start to see synchronicities or birds, that means that your manifestation is here, right? It's here and it's here now. You're not waiting for it, right? You're seeing it because it's here and it's here now. All we have is now. So the bridge of incidents is hindsight, right? You look at it and you say, oh, now I see why that person is not in my life anymore, because they had to leave me in order for me to meet this person. And then that person introduced me to this person. And then I got the job. Those were all synchronicities, things that had to happen along the way. The bridge of incidents, the birds before land. So that's what a synchronicity is, right? And really, you get to give it meaning, right? Some people, that's the way I look at it, but you could give it good meaning, right? I also do this too. I will say, I'm sensitive to the word sign because I used to really manifest sign. Nobody can manifest a sign like me. I can manifest a sign so easily, which is just a good test, right? I always say you can manifest a sign as a test to experiment, but don't let it decide where you're going. And that was my issue, right? Years ago, I would literally be like, okay, God, send me a red heart-shaped balloon if I should make this choice. And then I would see a red heart-shaped balloon and then I would make the choice. That's me exporting my power, right? That's me giving up my power. As the creator, I decide and it's done. I don't need a sign to tell me. You can use a sign, however, as confirmation. So what I do now currently, right, is if I'm manifesting something, let's say, I don't know. Let's say if I were to be manifesting an SP, for example, and I see their favorite TV show pop up and I haven't seen their TV show that they like in a while, I would be like, oh, okay, that's kind of like a synchronicity. Like, my manifestation is here. It's a reminder that I already have it, right? Me and my person are watching their favorite show together. Or maybe you see a shirt that they always wore, right? Or maybe their cologne or something. You haven't seen it in a while and now that you're manifesting it, it's kind of like I use it as a reminder, right, of that I already have it. Okay, not it's coming, because then you're putting it into the future saying that you don't already have it. And then when you receive your manifestation, it's just kind of fun to look back and say, oh, that's why this happened. That's why I saw this thing, because it got me back into the state, right? When I saw the cologne, it got me back into the state of I can smell them next to me because I have my desire, right? So synchronicities are just things that happen along the way. They're birds before land, things that had to happen in order for your manifestation to get there. So Aaliyah said, I was journaling my dream. The exact words I wrote down simultaneously, I heard on a random TikTok. Yeah. Right? That's like a synchronicity. You could take that as a synchronicity. Just give it good meaning. Whenever you see something, just give it good meaning, right? I use it as like, just, yeah, this is a good reminder that it's already mine. It's already done, right? It's already mine. I think my issue is that I used to view them as it's on the way. And that would kind of delay my manifestation because I'm saying that I don't have it yet, right? I'm still in the place of wanting it. And so now I just view the synchronicities as just, I have it. So that's lovely. I love that. Celebrate those moments, right? Give them good meaning. I love seeing them along the way. 12/7 said, I have no expectations on manifestations. Yeah, it's just like you decide it, it's done, and you don't really have to control the how, right? Faith said the 3D is an illusion. It's an illusion in the sense that your world is malleable. When I say malleable, it means your world is clay. You're sculpting it with your thoughts. So it's an illusion because if you're telling yourself a lie, it's going to show you the lie, right? It's an illusion in that sense. It's not, you're experiencing your 3D just through your 5 senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, all those things, right? So it's illusory in the sense that it's not fixed. Nothing's permanent. You can change it. You can sculpt it. You can design it. And you do it through your thoughts, right? No facts are final. So if you see something you don't like, you just say, okay, I created that. I just wasn't aware. Now I'm going to think the better thought. It's not an illusion in the sense of people aren't real. Yeah, the people in your reality are real. It's just that it's changeable, right? It's not fixed. Thank you so much, Rosa, for the rose. It's good to see you. Faith said, so is the 3D going to the end? No, the 4D, right? So when you're creating in the 4D in your conscious awareness, right? So you're going to the end. The 3D is just what you're seeing, what you're experiencing in the physical world, right? So when you're living in the end, going to the end, you're doing that in your imagination. And then it will appear in your 3D, right? So that's what you're going to do. Yeah, 12/7, I totally know what you're saying. He's just saying he lets it flow, right? Because as the creator, he just decides and he knows it's done. He has no expectation because what's there to expect, right? If you're the creator, creation is finished. There's nothing to expect other than you have it. So is your own perception your own reality? Exactly, Jeremy. That's exactly it. Everybody's living in their own reality. So what you perceive, what you assume, what you think, that's your reality. Yeah, absolutely. We're all connected through the greater conscious, right? Like greater intelligence, infinite intelligence, but we all have our own reality. Aaliyah said, I am that I am. Exactly. We have the final say, 1000%. Yes, you've got it, Aaliyah. You get it. Faith said, okay, is the 3D malleable? Then why do you experience the end? Is the 4D? No. You're creating in your imagination, right? So what you create in your imagination is then projected into your 3D. So that's how your 3D is malleable. It shapes around what you're dominantly thinking. So creation, imagination is done in the 4D, and your thoughts. What story are you telling yourself? And then the world will shift to match that thought. So that's how it's malleable. It will bend to your will. So that's why you live in the end, in the 4D in your imagination, and then your 3D will reflect it. So you have to persist in that new thinking, knowing that you have it, knowing that it's done, knowing that you're in the marriage, knowing that you have the second house, right? Knowing that your townhouse is rented out, knowing that you have all your desires, that your sister's skin is healthy, that your brother is at a healthy weight. You're living in the end of that in your 4D, persisting in that thinking, and then your 3D world will bend to reflect that to you. People get caught up because their 3D is still showing what they don't want. So you have to go back to your imagination and know that creation is done there. It's finished. Once you decide, once you think it, your world will bend to it. You just can't go back to the old thinking saying, where is it? Why don't I have it yet? Because then you're living in the end of you don't have it. So then your 3D is showing you don't have it. Tim, thank you for the heart. Aaliyah said, I've only been doing mirror work / affirmation for a short time and I already see a difference. Isn't it fun, Aaliyah, how quickly it happens? Like, that's the thing, is like, this work gets to be so fun if you just play with it and just do it, right? Just do it. People get curious and they just do it for a day. Their world doesn't change and they give up. Stick with it. Look at Aaliyah. She's saying she's already seeing a difference. Don't you probably feel amazing too, don't you? Like a renewed energy, a new zest for life. They said, or don't say this is going to happen or I am going to do that, right? Yeah, going to is putting it in the future. I mean, you can say it. I've had people manifest, several clients that say I'm going to, right? And it still manifests. Just for me personally, I think that you're delaying it, right? A lot of my clients have a lot more success when they shift it to I already have it, past tense, you already received it. You're saying that you have it. Right? If you say I'm going to get this, then you'll manifest that it's on its way perpetually, forever. It's forever on the way. Not quite there, just on the way. So definitely I would step into that you have it. I really do recommend that. But some people like manifesting in steps, right? That's okay too. If you're manifesting marriage, some people like to manifest, the match on, whatever dating app, Bumble, and then the first date, then the text for the second date, then, them asking them out to be official, then moving in together, then the proposal. You can manifest in steps too. I just like to go to the end. But it's what can your brain handle, right? Some people need the steps. It's easier for them to manifest. That's okay. You can do that too. There's no wrong way. It's whatever you can get dominantly behind, right? If your brain is like, yeah, right, you're not married, then manifest in steps. You can make them as small a step as you want or as big of a step as you want. As long as you're in the new thinking. You have a 3 to 5 minute delay on comments. I know, I always say I'm always behind on comments. So if you're new here, I do answer every single person's comment, so I will get to it. But sometimes I get behind. But thank you, 777 for the update. Yadi said, what a man is projecting, he's walking into a building with me, but it's not real. I was confused. That's how they imagine things. You said, what a man projecting, he's walking into a building with me. So I don't know what you mean by that question, but essentially it's everybody's living in their own reality. Like, people are real in your reality, but just know that they have their own reality where they're making their own decisions, right? In your reality, you're the only thinker, so you get to decide. It's your perception of reality. So all of your decisions, all of your thinking is being reflected back to you. And then in his reality, all of his thoughts are being reflected back to him. The people, places, and things are all real. It's just your perception, right? Your self-concept, what you think of them, what you're assigning meaning to them is what you will experience. Right? So 2 kids can grow up in the same house. Here's an example. And one could say, Dad was really hard on us and he was always mean and he was cruel and he was awful. And another kid, same household, same parents, could say, Dad was always really pushing us and I so appreciated his support because it made me have character. It built my character. Same experience, different perception, different thinking, different thoughts, different story that they were telling themselves. So that's what we mean when it's the story you're telling yourself. That's why you have to step into the new thinking and your world will reflect it back to you. One kid said they had an awful father. The other one saw him as A role model. What story are you telling? That's it. 7 said, free of expectations makes it fun. Yeah, I love doing that too, 12-7, because when you manifest with no expectations, you're so much more open to possibility. For me specifically, with money, I always say I'm open to money always in all ways, right? Always meaning all the time, always meanings in all different types of ways, right? Like, why would I limit myself to making money from a 9 to 5 or making money from coaching, right? I want to find $1,000 on the ground, right? I don't want to block myself from that. So I don't need to know the how. And that's what 12-7 is saying. He's just open to whatever it is. He just knows his end is that I'm wealthy. You can bring it to me in any kind of way. Doesn't matter. I had someone on last night and they were manifesting a remote second job. And I said, well, what do you want? Is it that you want money? Because right now you're saying you want a second job. I would go to the end if I just have more than enough money. Or if you can't get your head around that, you could just say, my first job pays me enough. Why do you have to manifest a second job? I don't want to work more. I want to just get paid to exist. So I release expectations and I'm just open to whatever possibility lands on my doorstep. And guess what they do? Right? I've always coached people for 90 minutes. Yesterday, I had the bright idea, let me offer 30-minute slots. Mentioned it in a live. I didn't even have a sales page yet. 3 people bought it. So just be open. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate the heart, May. But again, there's no wrong way to manifest. You can do it both ways. Doesn't matter. 12-7 just does it where it's a little bit more playful. It's a little bit more fun for him. You can manifest with expectations. Doesn't matter. Whatever feels good to you. And the thing is, you can switch it up, right? Some manifestations you might want to be more playful, use more techniques, and other ones you might just be, more open to it. So you can do both. Aaliyah, I love that. That is amazing. So going back to what we were talking about, she's been doing the work, right? She's been affirming. She's been doing mirror work. So she said, I feel the most beautiful and happy I've ever felt. Guys, listen to what she's saying. She's telling herself a better story. She's being conscious of what she's thinking. She's becoming aware of the version of her she wants to be. That is so freeing when you stop telling yourself the story that doesn't serve you. She's telling herself a better story and she's seeing results, right? She's not invested in even necessarily, I don't even know if Aaliyah, you're manifesting something specific. She feels so good and happy. She probably doesn't even care because she feels whole. And that's when you become magnetic, right? That's when your manifestations will fall into place because you just feel so good, so beautiful, and so happy that you can manifest a coffee in an instant because you know you're the creator. You know you're just the best. You feel so good. You don't have resistance because you're not needing anything. You just feel whole as you are. That's why that type of work, the mirror work, the affirmations, technically can you manifest without them? Sure. But when you do them, you feel beautiful and happy. So you want for not because you're just so happy with yourself that you start to care less about your desires, right? Because you just feel so good and you know that you're whole and then your desires come to you so easy. Because you're not looking for anything. You're like, I'm good as I am. I'm enough as I am. I'm amazing. That's not saying she still can't do, specific manifestation stuff. Of course, you still do, but you feel whole in who you are. That's why I do this work, is for you all to experience that shift. So Aaliyah, thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing. And congratulations. You are a master manifester, a creator, a goddess, amazing, stunning, beautiful. And I love your energy. So thank you. Faith said, once you manifest something and you have it, do you have to continue saying you have it? It's all the story that you tell yourself. So if you manifest something like love, are you going back to old thinking of, you probably wouldn't go back to I don't have it, right? Because you know you have it. You'd be seeing it in your 3D. But are you having thoughts of, oh, he looked at another woman. Oh, wait. Now he's liking other women's posts. because then that'll manifest in your reality and then you won't have it anymore, the old thinking. So you persist in the story, I'm loved, chosen, worthy, and deserving, right? It's not necessarily that you have to sit there and affirm that. You just have to be aware of what you're thinking, right? You're living your joy with your person. You don't have to sit there affirming in a closet every night when he goes to sleep. I'm not saying that. But when an insecurity comes up, you just don't indulge it, right? Maybe you're with your man and you see him glance over and he looks at another woman. You're not going to give it some story of he's interested in her, not me. Oh my God, I'm losing him. He looks at other women. He's going to cheat on me. No, you're just aware of your thoughts and you just say, yeah, she's a beautiful woman, but I know he only has eyes for me because he loves me. Right? You're just not going to go down that rabbit hole. You're just going to be mindful of the story you tell yourself, and you should be doing that anyway. Life is a story. Remember, it's not just when you manifest something, it's done. We're manifesting our thoughts. You should be living life conscious of what you're thinking regardless, right? Sometimes when we say we're manifesting something, it's because we're being more intentional about a specific thing that we want to experience, right? Like the marriage, like the car, like the house. But regardless, you are walking through life in a constant state of manifesting. Everything you think is manifesting. So that's why the work is being mindful of what you're thinking. Always. Because you're always manifesting because you're that powerful. So everything you think becomes a thing in your 3D world. Catherine said, I will be 36 in March and I'm worried about being single and not being a mommy. Catherine... Okay, so I always say, just to ease your mind and ease your brain, if you think about the word worry, what's the goal, right? What's the end? What's the purpose of worrying? And if you think about it, worrying has no purpose. So I want you to stop worrying because it doesn't do anything for you, right? As the conscious creator, Catherine, you get to decide, you get to choose. And I mean this wholeheartedly, right? Lovingly. There are women having babies at the age of 50. It's very common now, right? So you're saying, I'll be 36 in March. So from your question, that tells me that you have a dominant belief that you can't have a baby or a family after a certain age. And that's not true. People do it all the time, right? Halle Berry had kids at a later age. Mariah Carey. Women are doing that. Actually, I would say it's more so becoming a norm now, right? So stop thinking that. I want you to stop, with that story. So you're not going to tell yourself that, right? You're not going to worry because worrying doesn't do anything. And you're going to shift into that you are in a loving relationship because the work that we do is self-concept, right? So you're going to say, I am chosen, right? I don't know what your story is. I would have to work with you a little bit more to see what maybe some of your relationship beliefs are. But maybe you feel like you're not chosen, right? And that's why you're single. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not saying that this is what you think. But maybe you're like, I'm always single, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I'm never chosen. Men don't look at me at bars. My friends always get hollered at. I don't. And then that's causing fear, right? Of because I'm single, I'm not going to be a mom. Not true. You're the creator of your reality. You get to decide. You get to make the rules. So start affirming, I'm a queen, I'm a goddess, I'm in my perfect union, perfect partnership. I have my husband, boyfriend, whatever it is that you want. I don't know what your desire is, but I'm assuming maybe marriage and a family. So say I have my husband. I'm in a loving and committed relationship. My partner adores me. They love me. They cherish me. They think I'm a treasure. And we have a beautiful family of 3 kids. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I'm the best mom in the world. And I love being a mom, right? You're going to start to live in the end of your desire. You're going to paint that scene and your world will reflect it back to you. It will. So you're not going to waver in the story. You're going to live in the knowing that you're the creator. And because you decided it, it's done. That's it. It's that simple. Manifestation at its core is just understanding and knowing that our thoughts become things. What makes it challenging is the thought management, right? And right now you're living in the story, so a lot of your thoughts are that you're single and you're going to be single forever and that you're not going to be a mom. So we're just going to shift it, right? You're going to audit your thoughts throughout the day, and when that thought comes up, you're going to say, no, not in my reality, not happening for me. I already know I'm married. I know I have the family. I know I have my dream life because I said so. And it doesn't matter what 3D is showing you. You're not going to let the 3D throw you. You're not going to look at the other, side of your couch and say, where is he? He's not sitting here with me. You're going to be sitting there watching your show knowing your husband's sitting right next to you, rubbing your feet. Right? That's what you're going to do. So you're going to live in the end. What would that feel like, right? If you have a hard time with, maybe you've never been in a relationship, watch a movie, right? That's a romance. So you can get into the feeling of what it would be like. Read poetry, right? But remember, you're bringing all of your awareness back to you. I recommend you could write down a list of all of the traits that you want in a partner. Loving, caring, kind, compassionate, funny, 6'2", brown eyes, curly hair, whatever you want, you get to have it. Put in your order, right? Say what it is that you want. Get really clear and then tell that story. And then when the thought comes up that's opposite, you're just going to persist in the new thinking, and you're just going to keep going back to the new story and back to the new story and back to the new story until it materializes in your 3D world. And it will. It will, Catherine. You'll have it. You already do have it. So start affirming you have it. Well, Catherine said it's hard, but good advice. It's only hard because you're saying it's hard. So definitely... So this work is really being mindful of all of our thoughts, even those ancillary ones, right? Because right now you have a dominant thought of, I'm not going to have a family and kids. And then you also have a thought that this is hard, right? It's a secondary thought, but it doesn't support you. So you're going to stop saying that it's hard because you're making it hard by saying that it's hard. You're going to say, I'm a master manifestor and it gets to be easy. Catherine said, I'm worried since that doesn't matter. Catherine, circumstances don't matter. So you're putting a limitation on your manifestation because of your sexual orientation. Doesn't matter. Right? There's people in all sorts of relationships that have families, right? Doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, bi, or in a relationship where... what is it called? Polyamory, right? People still have families. People create families with new dynamics, right? That people don't even know exist, right? Polyamory wasn't really big, and now it is. It's more mainstream, so all possibilities exist. You just get to decide. So right now you're putting a limitation on it because of that. Don't do that to yourself. You get to have it all. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Circumstances do not matter when it comes to manifesting. The only limitation that exists is the one that you put on yourself. So I say this lovingly. I want you to stop putting that as a limitation. That's not a factor. It doesn't matter. Humble said, Catherine, you already have it. Just see it and it's yours. Yeah. The thing is, Catherine, you get to have it exactly the way you want it. So your dream partner, right? Right? Your wife, like, it doesn't matter. Write out everything that you want in your future mate, right? In your soulmate. Write it as you already have it. Your perfect family dynamic. You can even say how much money you want your spouse to make, right? Doesn't matter. Go wild with your imagination. You get to have it all. Faith said, I've been saying I have a $120,000 remote job that I can work anywhere from in the world. Beautiful. I love it. Exactly. Catherine said, can you explain the mirror affirmations and what to do? Yeah, so just start affirming whatever it is that you want in the mirror, right? So look at yourself. I always say it's really good to start with a mirror gaze. If you're not familiar with a mirror gaze is when you stare in the mirror and you stare in your eyes, right? Just your eyes. And it can feel a little awkward at first, right? But you're going to stare into your eyes, right? The essence of who you are, because that's who you are, right? Your soul. And you're just going to stare. And you can set a timer for 30 seconds maybe to start out and work your way up to like 3 minutes and just stare at you, right? Lovingly. Just staring at the essence of you. And then you can go into affirmations. And so I was saying, if you're manifesting body changes, go from head to toe saying all of the things that you love about yourself. I love my beautiful hair. I love my eyes. I love my lips. I love how strong my body is. I love that my body breathes itself, right? It's breathing. You're not keeping track of that. You're not saying inhale, exhale, right? I love my curves. I love my thighs, whatever it is, head to toe. And you can do that just in general for self-love, but I always recommend that for people that want body changes. And you're going to look in the mirror and do that after your mirror gaze. And then for you, if you're manifesting love, just look in your eyes and just say, I'm lovable. I'm cherished. I'm chosen. I'm worthy. I am enough. I am complete. I am whole. I am healthy. I am healed. I have vitality. I am beautiful. I am stunning. I am kind. I am appreciated. I am valued. I am deserving, right? You're going to go through and you're just going to look at yourself to know that you are worthy and that all of those things are true of you. And then it's going to become familiar and it's going to become your dominant assumption, your dominant thought, your standard for life. Knowing that you're the creator and knowing that you get to have anything that you want, anything that you desire. And you're going to start to see yourself as all those things. Like Aaliyah said, she looks at herself now in the mirror so lovingly because she's been doing the work. She said she's never felt better, right? You're going to get to that place and you're going to know that you're worthy. And then you're going to call that in. Thank you so much for the gifts. Legacy said good evening. Mangoes or strawberries? I don't know, maybe mango. Got it. Thank you. Very clear. Good. What's the name for your YouTube channel? I actually just updated everything. So everything is synced up now. It's the same as here, the Confidence Lab. And if you click the link in my bio, Barbie, there's a link to the YouTube. So you can just click the link in my bio and then click the YouTube link. I am going to put up a video today. That is like the goal, is to put up a video. How did you get into coaching? I have hired many coaches in my day. I've probably hired about like 7 or 8. And I love coaching culture, and that's why I hire coaches. I think they all have a unique perspective. I've hired different ones for different things, for different areas of my life. And I saw the positive impact it had on me, and I just knew I had to help others, to be honest, period, point blank. When I started shifting my life and understanding and knowing that I was causing, right? We are the cause, what we think, the world is the effect. I was like, I have to share this with other people so that they can create a beautiful life, because I was in a place that was dark, right? It was not good. And then when I started to do some healing work and I learned about manifesting, it changed everything for me. Catherine said, I get plenty of attention from men. I just prefer women. Exactly. So start claiming that. Affirm it. Say, I call in the perfect woman. Women are always, start affirming, women are attracted to me. Women just think I'm so beautiful. All of the women that I'm interested are interested in me, right? Start affirming that. Just say, I'm a magnet. You said, so it worries me, but I'll start saying my wife. Exactly. Say my wife. You say, my wife is so supportive. My wife is so loving. My wife is so caring. She loves me unconditionally because I'm amazing. I'm amazing, right? And it all goes back to you. You're not saying how the other person is amazing. It's all in reference to you. They support you. They love you. They care for you. Your wife, right? Your soulmate. That's what you're going to start to affirm. You will have your desire, Catherine. I have no doubt. It's not even, seriously, it's not even an issue at all. The circumstances do not matter, period. You will have your desire. I just need for you to stop telling that story, because you're putting a limitation on your desire inadvertently, right? It's not that you want to, it just happened. Faye said, how about premature graying? Do you have a story about manifesting no gray hair? Yeah, you're going to say I'm reverse aging. You're not going to focus on the gray. I tell the story literally, we gray late in my family. We do. And that's a conviction of mine. We gray late. I gray late in my family. I mean, my aunt literally didn't have gray hair until she was like her roots, meaning like she would have strands here and there, but she didn't have gray in her roots until she was like 60, 62, honestly. Because she's 70. I feel like it just started. It's probably around like 65. Her roots started to get gray. So I always say I take after her, right? Say you're reverse aging. You're a marvel. The doctors are shocked. They're like, wow, you're just aging so well, right? I wouldn't even say you're aging well. Just say you're reverse aging. Catherine said, I literally just picked out a journal to start writing. Amazing, beautiful, exactly, yeah. So start writing down all the qualities that you want in your wife, right? What you want your family dynamic to look like, how many kids you want, what you want her to look like, what you want her to act like, her hobbies, her interests, right? Her characteristics, her job, everything. I literally, when I was manifesting my specific person, it was 4 pages front and back. So it was 8. And a lot of them were a little similar and repetitive, but it's like you can get lost in it, right? So have fun. Like sit down and put on music, right? That feels good to you. Maybe even like love songs to like get into the state and just write it all out, right? Write it down. Have fun. Use your imagination. All right. I do have to prepare for a couple of calls this afternoon. I'm looking forward to chatting with a few of you. If you do want to work with me, check the link in my bio. I have affordable coaching courses. I'm talking about like literally starting at $7. And then if you want to work with me, I offer 30 minutes, 1 hour, and 90 minutes. And I love working with you all. And then if you want to check out this video on YouTube, I will post it. I will admit I'm behind, but go follow me on YouTube. All of the names are synced up now. And then if you follow me on Instagram, I would love that. I would appreciate it. Just because I want to make sure we're connected on all platforms, especially with TikTok being all over the place when it comes to if it's staying, if it's going, and all of those things. So just want to make sure that we're all connected, because really what I'm here for is to build community. These lives enrich me. I love learning from you all, seriously. Nikki, I learned from you today too. Thank you so much for the tip with the Amazon. And I just love that we're uplifting each other. I mean, these lives are so fun for me, and I just love you all. So thank you. I know that you could be somewhere else, right? You have lives and you could be spending your time doing something else. And the fact that you're here with me, I immensely appreciate. So thank you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Oh, good, Catherine. I'm so glad. Yeah, come back. I usually go live at a random time, like around now. And then I go live at a standard 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, that's a for sure time every day. And then I usually go live like a random time like this. So yeah, sending you love. Thank you. I'm sending love to all of you, and you already have your desire. Remember that you are the master manifester. You're the only thinker in your reality, and that you get to have it all because you're powerful. All right. Take care. Bye.